All right, everybody. KernCOG Public Workshop, FlexiBus, presented by Joe. You're up.
You're gonna be tough to replace, you know?
I know.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All good? Great. So thank you for the introduction. And yes, my name's Joe Ian. I work with FlixBus. I'm the Senior Government Relations Manager. And I'm with my colleague, Sam Moffett. He's works with our network planning team. So I do a lot of work with the communities we serve and establishing where we stop, ensuring authorizations are all how they need to be. And Sam works with timing, where we go, creating the network that we have. So FlixBus actually started 5-6 years ago in Germany. Started off as a bus company taking people from Munich to the Alps, and in just 5-6 years we're now already the largest bus operator all over Europe, serving in 28 countries. And you can see some of those numbers, and for the sake of speed I'm not going to go through everything since you have the presentation right there. But now this past summer we've actually expanded to the United States, and so in just 6 months we're already now serving in 45 different destinations throughout California, Nevada, and Arizona. And one of those locations is Bakersfield, and later on in the presentation we could talk more about that one in specific. Our United States network, we have 15 different routes. We have already, as of September, served 100,000 passengers, and that's growing exponentially. So I think we're around, we're nearing 200,000 passengers already. So we are just starting up in some ways, but part of the benefit that, or the fact that we have a very well-established counterpart in Europe, we've been able to make a big splash very quickly and hit the ground running. And this is indicative of our immediate success, and is one of the ways in which we are unique from other long-distance bus operators. And you don't usually hear long-distance bus having something like 1 billion media impressions. So we are straddling a tech / bus operating position that is a bit unique from the other operators. So whenever we do serve in the cities, we really, our goal is to work with the cities and transit agencies. In some of the cities that we do serve, we are at those transit centers, and we are working alongside those entities. So as you see here, those include the Sacramento Regional Transit, Phoenix Sky Harbor, and City of Tempe, Long Beach Transit, San Francisco Municipal Transit Agency. And then in addition to the transit agencies and cities, we also often stop at universities and private community centers, and that's the case in Bakersfield with the Valley Plaza Mall. So I've already mentioned a few of the things on this slide, but another way that we are unique from a unique bus operator, or excuse me, bus providers, that we partner with different bus operators, and that's one of the ways that we have been able to scale as quickly as we have. So we're able to focus on what we do best, which is plan routes, establish stop locations, brand and market our service across all of the states that, or in this case countries, that we have. And then we are working with the bus partners who are typically smaller, maybe family owned, who've worked in the areas that they serve for several generations. And that's advantageous not only because we don't own the buses, and that's enables us to, like I said, scale, but then also the bus operators are working in the communities they've been serving for several years, and then perhaps passengers are enjoying customer service that are familiar with, and or the drivers that are operating our routes have been driving on those roads and in those areas again for possibly many years. So our service is, we're proud that it's we sell our service that it's a clean, comfortable, and affordable long distance intercity bus service. So all of our buses come equipped with free Wi-Fi outlets for passengers. All our buses are ADA accessible. Free onboard entertainment, so that is very different. So passengers, all of our buses actually have downloaded movies, TV shows. We've actually partnered with Amazon that is providing that entertainment, and all of that is actually stored on the buses, so there's no issues with streaming or things like that. One a very convenient thing for passengers is actually our buses have real-time tracking. So if you open up our mobile application, you can see where the bus is in relation to the stop. If there's any delays, you can see where the bus is, or our traffic control and customer service team will contact passengers if the bus is delayed or any sort of notifications. We are again have been able to grow so quickly, not because we're just stepping into a market, but we're helping develop or grow the bus riding market. Part of it is because we do reach out to the younger generations, travelers, students, a bit more than other long distance providers. We also, because we are so established in Europe, we've had instant success with people who are very familiar with our service out there, who are traveling here or from, let's say, Europe, where we already serve, and that are traveling in the United States. They already have the application. They already they're very familiar with our green buses. So it's that's been a very big advantage to us. This graph you can see speaks to the tech focus that we have. We, as of 2017, had already overtaken the other competitors in for long distance service in the amount of hits online. So people are already searching our company, and that is how you can see. I was alluding to the nature of the partnerships that we have with our bus companies. So this gives you an idea of how what we focus on is the network planning, the marketing, and the sales, while the bus partners are the ones that are doing the operations on the ground with the fleet and with the drivers. Most of our partners are they average a fleet of, let's say, 20 to 50 buses. Our partnership accounts for maybe 20 to 30% of their total business. So it's not, they're very well established. They have a very well established business, and what we are providing to them is often a more, a different, I guess you could, revenue stream. Often they are involved with charter services, which may be more seasonal, while what we're doing is providing a more consistent service throughout the year. And so we're enabling these services to just have a more consistent operations throughout the year, which helps them employ drivers throughout the year, and for them to be in business throughout the year rather than be subject to seasonal trends as a charter. I'll skip over this because I was speaking about the bus amenities already. Our bus partners and us, we all are adherent to the federal bus regulations with the United States Department of Transportation, the FMSCA, as well as any of the regulations at the state level, in this case the California Public Utilities Commission. Those all involve safety as well as operational regulations, restrictions that we and the partners all follow. These are some examples of how we ensure our drivers are following those rules. Many of these instances are actually, we have higher standards than what the federal or state regulations require. We are incorporating some practices from our operations in Europe. One example is for our night lines. any line operating between midnight and 6 a.m., we require there to be 2 drivers, and that's actually not required. But in Europe, that is, and it's common sense to us. So that's an example of how we actually believe that the regulations may not be strong enough in many instances, and we are taking that step up, or if not, even suggesting that there be stronger regulations to those regulatory authorities. I also mentioned that our service is supplemented by a 24-hour traffic control and customer service team. This is support for the drivers if there's any incidents on the road, as well as for the passengers if there's any sort of notifications that need to be conveyed to them, whether it's finding the stop or if there is some sort of delay. And this is complemented again by the mobile application that a passenger could have. Typically, that's where they also buy their tickets, so very customer friendly. Many of the cities that we stop in, we have multiple stops. Our goal is to be as close to where people want to be as possible. Along with working with the cities and agencies, we want to be where they where passengers want to be, and those agencies and authorities know that information best. Working alongside with them helps us establish a completely car-free, long-distance experience for passengers. Them being able to take a bus from city to city and then being dropped off where maybe a local transit system is a complete intermodal car-free network, which that's our goal. Some cities may not have that infrastructure or network established, and we may work with a private landowner or community center if that's the case. But ideally, we would like for a passenger to be able to go from city to city without requiring a car. We have the FlixBus mobile application, so passengers can buy their tickets on the application or online. They can show the driver their ticket on their phone, or if they would like to print it out, they of course can do it that way as well. Through that very efficient process, stops only take 5 minutes long. Drivers actually have a device that will scan the ticket, and that is it's a quick process that makes it each stop less of a deviation on our route, as well as just a quick experience for passengers. So what we like to tell the communities that we are serving is that we're providing an intercity service connecting people in a car-free way that may or may not already exist. We believe that we're providing perhaps an improved service, a cleaner, affordable, more enjoyable service. And when we come to these communities, we ask simply for permission to operate, to have a stop location. For other entities within the city, we like to also offer cross-promotional opportunities. We think that the better our service does, it also complements maybe those local businesses or provides a better service to the community members, the residents. So any other cross-promotional opportunities such as selling our tickets, or us having ad space maybe in the bus, us being able to, our drivers being able to refer specific locations, or even our even quite simply the directions maybe on our tickets, referring people to how to reach the local transportation options that may exist near our stops. Those are all ways that we can partner with the various organizations. And, Sam can go into a little detail on where our actual service in Bakersfield looks like right now.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. I just want to go over a few quick more slides about the service that we're actually currently providing in Bakersfield and what we plan for the near future. So right now from Bakersfield, there's 14 cities that are directly reachable without a transfer. But then, as Joe mentioned, we serve 45 cities. So through a transfer in Los Angeles or San Francisco, you can reach any of those 45 cities that we currently serve. So we have. I'm sorry. We have trips to the Bay Area, as well as the Central Valley, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Our service varies by day of week. So in the middle of the week, because we primarily serve vacation trips, it's a little bit less and a little bit more on weekends. From Bakersfield, we have daily departures to San Francisco overnight. So you would board the bus at about midnight and wake up in San Francisco at 8 a.m. for about $10. You can make that trip, or you can do the reverse trip and wake up in Bakersfield in the morning after spending the night on the bus. We also offer early morning departures down to Los Angeles every day and an afternoon return trip. And certain days of the week, we also have midday departures to San Francisco or Los Angeles as well. In the near future, within the next month, or maybe 2 months, we expect to add more service to Bakersfield with a route connecting San Francisco, Fresno, Bakersfield, and Las Vegas. So that would essentially double our frequency to the Bay Area, as well as add service to Las Vegas as well. And then apparently I pressed the wrong button. But yeah, that's okay. There was just one more slide, which was a screenshot from our website showing some of these connections that are available. I don't know if you want to press the right button. There we go. And so this shows, when you look at our website, it shows some of our common trip pairs with tickets as low as $5 is usual, and then we also run promotions with tickets as low as 99 cents even for the overnight trip. Yeah, so that's a good overview of our company and the service that we're currently providing here in Bakersfield and Kern County. We're definitely open to questions if anybody has questions about our service or specifically our service in Bakersfield and plans for the future as well.
Any questions from the public? Yes, sir.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Troy Hightower, and I just wanted to make some comments and maybe suggestions and some questions. I did have the opportunity to use this service 2 weeks ago. The app is great. The bus service is very good. However, I took the trip from LA Union Station to Bakersfield, and where we had to catch the bus was not at Union Station. It was across the street by CJ, the county jail, and we were basically waiting in the parking lot of the bail bondsman. So if you could maybe find a way to be in the bus terminal, that would be better. As well as when we arrived in Bakersfield, we were in Valley Plaza and close to Moore. So when I tried to use Lyft to get the ride, it wouldn't come up. So if you could find maybe a better location here in Bakersfield, that would be good. But other than that, I think that this is a good example of how technology will help transform transportation. And I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you. I will use your service again.
Pete?
I have used your service. Come to the microphone. Oh, sorry. I'm Pete Smith. I work for the COG. I have used your service in Europe, so I was glad when the service came to Bakersfield. And I'd like to voice the same thing that Mr. Hightower said. If you could, get into the bus terminal at Union Station, that would greatly create convenience. And also, if you could get into the Amtrak station here in Bakersfield, I think it's a more central. And I don't know what your business model allows to do that, or whether you need some sort of regulatory permission to service that. That would be a great advantage to the people of Bakersfield. Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I'd just like to hear an answer to that. Do you go out of public stations, or do you always end up on private property? Or
Yes, Thank you for your comments and suggestions. Yeah, in the cities we serve, it is a mix, and ideally we are serving at the transit centers or where we think that's most convenient for passengers. In the particular case of Los Angeles, the LA Metro bus terminal is quite simply full, and we're actively working to be in there. Yeah, we're very well aware of the Amtrak station as well, and that location, again, yeah, it has just regulatory obstacles that we're either working through, or we are also open to looking at more convenient locations at maybe a different transit center, or we also do often stop maybe curbsides at bus stops, not quite bus stations, or more convenient private locations that are maybe near public transit centers. So yeah, we are very receptive to what's most convenient to passengers, and maybe the locations that we are currently at, we are certainly, those particular instances that you mentioned are cases where we're actively working on improving them.
How long have you actually been serving Bakersfield?
We started on it initially in May, right? Or
The Bakersfield route. Yeah, so initially in the U.S. we started service in May. However, we started service to Bakersfield in the beginning of July.
So, could a customer drive and park? Do you have those agreements or not?
The ability to park, I guess, is dependent on the particular location. We, I guess, just advise passengers to be cognizant of whatever the rules exist from the municipal or the private property
It's
standpoint.
not typical, though. I mean, typical is they get there by Uber or Lyft or something like that.
Yeah, I guess
Or
our
other
ideal
transit.
is passengers don't need a car.
Right.
But we are there are many locations where are attractive to us and attractive passengers because maybe it is a park and ride situation. But not all cities have that, so it just depends on the particular location.
Do you take bicycles on your buses?
That is, are we currently? I know in Europe we are.
Yes, so this is something that we're working on here as well. Currently, you can take bikes if you somewhat disassemble it, take the wheels off. However, in Europe, this is very common. For a $10 charge, you can bring large luggage, and this means a bike or skis or extra baggage as well. And that is something we are currently working on adding in the U.S.
So a foldable bike you could do now or not?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's bring this Kern Council of Governments meeting to order. Please stand for the flag salute. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Garola,
Present.
B. Smith,
I'm here.
Wood,
Here.
Vallejo, Crump,
Here.
Cantu, Maurer,
Here.
Prout, Crier,
Here.
P. Smith,
Here.
Wegman,
Here.
Couch, Gleason,
Yeah.
Kiernan, Green, Miller, Para. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3, public comments. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the committee on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the committee. Committee members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the committee at a later meeting. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. with the authority of the chair to extend the time limit as deemed appropriate for conducting the meeting. Please state your name and address for the record prior to making a presentation. Do we have any public comments? Seeing none. Consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by KernCOG staff and will be approved by one motion if no member of the committee or public wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in the listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the committee concerning the item before the action is taken. We have items A through J. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call vote?
Gorola.
Yes.
B. Smith.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Vallejo. Crump.
Aye.
Cantu. Mauer.
Yes.
Prout. Crier. P. Smith.
Yes.
Wegman.
Yes.
And Couch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Caltrans report.
Okay, get started early. So good evening, and my first project to report on is Formosa SR 4699 bridge replacement. Deck was poured and is completed. Placing the sweepy for rain season, which is sweepy has to do with proper drainage control for water quality purposes. Preparing to work on the 46th section of the project and new ramps. Major closure to complete this week, and will major closure to begin this week. And wait a minute, hang on. Okay, it will begin November 5th, a major closure. Sometimes I can't read my writing. So moving on. The 99 Taft Highway rehabilitation. It's near the city of Bakersfield from north of Herring Road overcrossing to Pacheco Road undercrossing. Within the section of highway between Pacheco undercrossing to just south of the Houghton Road overcrossing, nightly closures are needed. Weekly from Sunday to Thursday to complete the following work. Shoulder work. Final striping scheduled for next week, so that'll be from November, in the coming weeks from November 4th to November 9th. Currently, 3 of the 4 lanes are open within this section. Now we have work between south of Houghton Road to overcrossing to just north of 223 off-ramp. This is behind K-Rail with 2 lanes open to traffic. And the following work will be rebar placement through October 26th. Concrete placement scheduled from October 28th to November 2nd. This project will continue until March of next year. And now the State Route 46, segment 4A. That's to widen 46 from 2 to 4 lanes between Lost Hills Road and I-5. The main flood canal bridge, westbound construction should be completed at the end of November. Contractor continues bridge construction at I-5. And then the contractor is also working on the ramps. Cottonwood East rehabilitation. On 58 in Bakersfield from Cottonwood Road undercrossing to just east of State Route 58 and the 184 separation. Medium work is complete. Work is also progressing on eastbound lanes on number 3 lane and the shoulder. Time complete. They're 50% complete and at 33% of their expenditures, so that's a good sign. The did you listen? Aaron, did you listen to CTC this morning about Cache Creek Bridge replacement? We went back for some supplemental funds. I didn't get the report on that. Was that approved?
It was approved.
Okay, I sometimes can't listen to the whole thing, so I figured you would know that. So that's good that because we had the bids came in over program amount, so we had to go back for more funds. So I'll look forward to reporting on that once that goes into construction. And that completes my report. Unless there's questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Thank you, Gail.
Okay.
Good evening. We had the opportunity today to meet with the city of Tehachapi. This was a follow-up meeting from the meeting that we had just prior to last KernCOG meeting. The dialogue was focused exclusively on the truck climbing lane project initiation document. The engineer who's leading that effort gave a presentation during that meeting. I think it was well received. We got some very good input. So that effort, I think it's a very popular project, if you will. It's something we're very motivated to continue, and I know some folks were there at that meeting today. In your packet, you'll find the monthly report of projects in Eastern Kern County. I don't intend to go through that. One of the things that I will be asking Executive Director Aaron Akimi is, it occurred to me during a presentation at another board recently that it's not always obvious to folks how Caltrans performance is measured at a district level. And so one of the things I might propose doing, based on the pleasure of this board, is to come back and just to have about a half a dozen slides just to kind of show you how we measure our own performance, whether it's by schedule, whether it's by project, whether it's by the type of repair that we make. And so I think that would be informational to just kind of give you an idea of, you know, how we think we're doing. And I think that measuring us in terms of accountability and transparency, I think that might be a good way to kind of show you what we're doing. And I think that same model is common throughout the state. So I think that you know, District 9, District 6, whatever district you're in, that model is prevalent throughout the state. So maybe at a follow-up meeting I'll come and I'll kind of share that with you, and I'll be open to, you know, any questions you might have about that particular.
Just a comment. Appreciate you and your staff coming down to Tehachapi and all the way down to KernCOG for your representing District 9. It's very well received. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of my report.
Executive Director's Report.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. Let me just expand a little bit on what Brent said. So Supervisor Scribner, Council Member Smith, city staff, Caltrans staff, and I was at that meeting. We're very encouraged that truck climbing lanes between Bakersfield and Tehachapi are getting the attention that we think that they deserve, and we look forward to continuing to work with District 9 and maybe even District 6 in getting first the PSR done, and then working with you, certainly with our elected officials, to try to find a funding source for ultimately constructing 1, 2, or maybe even all 3 of those locations. Thank you, Brent. A few other items, Madam Chair. The California High-Speed Rail met in Bakersfield October 16th, where they took 2 actions that are related to Bakersfield. They selected locally generated alternative, approved the environmental document for that. They also selected a state preferred alternative between Bakersfield and Pondale. There's information in your folder if you're interested in that. CTC, Gail mentioned, California Transportation Commission met October 17th and 18th, yesterday and today in Stockton. They approved several items for some of our board members, including small project Tehachapi. Gail mentioned another bridge project that Caltrans is doing. The large project that they approved was what's called an AB 3090 agreement. I talked about that probably in June or July. Supervisor Scrivener and I and a member of Bakersfield staff, Nick Fiddler, flew up to Sacramento, met with CTC staff and negotiated an agreement where City of Bakersfield will start construction on Centennial and be paid back over 4 years. City of Bakersfield will start with using their own money. that agreement was ratified and approved today. So congratulations to all that were involved with that. It's the first time KernCOG has entered into one of these agreements that are allowed under AB 3090. October 30th, Caltrans, the county, and Arvin will continue with another meeting to help them through the ATP Cycle 1 projects and potentially other ATP projects. October 25th is the 24th Street Improvement Project groundbreaking. That will be 10:30 a.m., 24th and Oak. If you want more information about that, please let me know. November 30th, please share with your staff. We have already, but it helps when you share with them also, is the deadline for Caltrans Sustainable Community Grant applications. And finally on this agenda, December 4th, there'll be a joint California Transportation Commission and Air Resources Board meeting in Los Angeles. We will have staff there. I may be there myself. Subject to your questions, Madam Chair and board members, that concludes my report.
Any questions for the director? Seeing none? Okay, we'll go to the next agenda. Kern Council of Governments. Roll call remains the same?
Yes.
Okay. Public comments. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the council on any matter on this agenda but not under the jurisdiction of the council. Do we have any public comments for this agenda? Yes. Mr. Spalding.
Good evening. My name is John Spalding. I'm the Secretary of the Building Trades here in Bakersfield, and I wanted to let you know that I have brought some no on Proposition 6 signs with me. They are in the lobby. I know that you have a position that you officially can't take, but I also know that you're personal voters. I also know that it helps every one of your communities here, and I appreciate those that have come out in support of no on 6. There's a lot of work going on out there, and there are a lot of men and women working right now because of this. We are starting to get a real grasp of our situation on roads and bridges here in Kern County, and we would appreciate your help. The building trades took possession of about 2,500 of these signs. I have about 1,000 left, so if I hang around a little bit, they are in the lobby, so you won't be seen grabbing one as you go by, and for some reason I brought 13. I don't know why. So if they show up in each of your yards, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spalding. Any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll go to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by KernCOG staff. We have items A through E.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Garola,
Yes.
B. Smith,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Vallejo, Crump,
Yes.
Cantu, Mauer,
Yes.
Prout, Crier, P. Smith,
Yes.
Wegman,
Yes.
Couch, Gleason. Thank you.
Item 4, California Public Employees Retirement System Unfunded Accrued Liability Alternatives. Ms. Napier.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. Kern Council of Governments is a member of the California Public Employees Retirement System. In September, we received our annual valuation report as of June 30th, 2017, that sets the required employer contribution for fiscal year 2019 and 20. As of December 31st, 2017, the funded status for CalPERS as a whole was 71%, up from 68.3% the prior year. KernCOG's funded status is 75.4% as of June 30th, or higher than PERS as a whole, up from 72.9% on June 30th of 2016. Changes since the prior year valuation include the assumed rate of return, or the discount rate, has been lowered from 7.5% to 7% over a 3-year phase-in period beginning June 30th of 2016. New asset portfolio effective June 30th of 2018, and shorter amortization schedules from 30 years to 20 years prospectively for new people coming into the PERS system, or new agencies coming into the PERS system. As is well known, the bulk of agencies that contract with CalPERS are carrying an unfunded accrued liability, which is considered a long-term debt to CalPERS. KernCOG has been very conservative over the years, but an unfunded accrued liability does exist. We have several options for you to consider, and what I'm talking about going forward is just about the unfunded accrued liability. It's not about our regular rates for the year for our employees. The first option is to continue on the current 30-year amortization schedule. Beginning June 30th of 2019, the accrued unfunded liability is estimated to be $2,818,000, with payments of $215,407 for fiscal year 2019-20. The payments gradually increase each year as of the current valuation report to $314,298 for fiscal year 2046-47. Total interest paid is estimated as of the current valuation report to be $2,657,110 over 30 years. Option 2 is what they call a hard fresh start. This requires an irrevocable election to change from an amortization schedule of 30 years to either 20, 15, or 10. The 15-year alternative would lock the KernCOG board into a payment schedule of $256,249 for fiscal year 2019-20. The payments gradually increase as of the current valuation report to $381,066 for fiscal year 2032-33. Total interest paid is estimated as of the current valuation report to be $1,904,463 over 15 years. The third option is what they call a soft fresh start. There is no irrevocable election. The agency makes an additional contribution that mimics a hard fresh start. This option allows you to move in and out of the 30-year, 15-year, and 10-year amortization schedules depending on the funding levels of the agency. In order to begin a soft fresh start, the agency simply contacts its PERS actuary and advises them at what level the unfunded accrued liability will be paid. And that election can happen every year. We are recommending that you authorize staff to activate the soft fresh start repayment of the unfunded accrued liability with the goal of moving between the 10-year and 15-year amortization schedules as funds permit. Thank you.
All right, any questions from the board? Mr. Smith?
So the 30-year started when, ends when? Or does that
the
float?
30-year, I'm sorry, let me get the mic. For this amortization schedule, for this valuation report, we are currently paying into the unfunded liability and have been over several years. This amortization schedule with this valuation report starts June 30th of 2019. That these reports are always, a little behind because they don't have they're about 2 years behind.
So we would not be paid off until.
Yeah, we would not be paid off until 2046. Actually, it would be June 30th of 2047.
At the 30-year. So
Yeah.
it started in 16, 17. Well, I think it's great if you can do it and you're not held to it. So I would move to approve the idea.
I would second that.
We have a question from the public.
Hello, my name is Troy Hightower, and Madam Chair, question for staff. would this make any changes to existing retirees or only for future?
It doesn't make any changes to current retirees, future retirees. This is just our unfunded liability. It occurred because of the downturn in the market, basically. And that's why all agencies, I mean, it doesn't impact your retirement payments or anything.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is this a voice vote or a roll call vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Executive Director's Report.
Good evening again, Madam Chair and board members. 14 changeable message signs that you approved several months ago using the Kern Motor Trade Authority money that has building up since we took out the call boxes were delivered to all of your agencies except for Cal City and Maricopa, and we're working with both those cities to arrange deliveries at a future date. They were delivered on Tuesday and Wednesday, October 2nd and 3rd. And if you remember, the idea was by each city at least one, see how you like them for a year. If you like them, we will have funds available to plus up the city of Bakersfield and the county of Kern and then all of the other cities if it's going well. The feedback so far has been positive, but please let us know how you like them. The Kern County Association of Cities dinner, KernCOG will be hosting the next dinner October 29th right across the street at the Woolworths Luncheonette. RSVPs are due October 25th. December 7th is the San Joaquin Valley Policy Council meeting. Please let me know if you would like to attend. This is a topic that I know many of you are interested in. The nomination forms for our annual regional awards will be distributed November 5th. Nominations will be due December 3rd. You'll have roughly a month to get those nominations in. And we will be asking next month for volunteers to meet here on December 20th, which is the Thursday before Christmas, which would typically be our board meeting, but our board meeting will probably be dark. Will be dark in December. So if you know right now if you want to volunteer for that, or if you want to wait till next month, please think about that. If you can make that, we'll need at least 3, as many as 5 board members. Some of you have already served on that committee before. In your folders this evening is the FlixBus information, and what the gentleman did not say is that there are currently 3 long-distance bus companies in addition to Greyhound operating in Kern County. They are FlixBus, Bolt, and Megabus. Flix is the only one that is currently stopping in Kern County. We are working with Megabus and Bolt to get stops in Kern County. The Kern Council of Governments Progress Report, October 2018 edition of status on all of our projects. Caltrans District 9, status of Eastern Kern County projects. The September 2018 schedule of cash disbursements. Pictures of several of the cities picking up their new signs. All the signs that were delivered to the cities and the counties are identical. Thank you to your staffs for all picking them up in the relatively small window that we offered. Worked out perfectly. And thank you to the County of Kern for providing a yard, providing forklifts and operators to get all those changeable message signs unloaded. This very small printed spreadsheet is data that was received by the CTC from each of your cities and the county on how much of the new SB1 money your cities or the county has spent. And this is available online. So some of you are spending the money as fast as it comes in. Some of you have not even touched the money. Timeline over the next 5 months. Outreach efforts. A combination document that summarizes what Ms. Yap went over last month, and also the ASCE study that was recently released that I believe gave Kern County a C minus, was it, grade, which is slightly better than it was before, but still not where I would want my kids to be getting grades. And finally, the information on the action that the High-Speed Rail Board took earlier this week, the old alignment and the new alignment. Certainly more information, if you're interested, is available on their website. Subject to any of your questions, Madam Chair or board members, that concludes my report.
Any questions for the director? Member statements. Jennifer?
I do. I also want to thank Mr. Green and his staff for coming to California City after our last KernCOG meeting. It was a very good discussion. We were able to talk about some future expansion within our community, and we appreciate the time spent, and we appreciate I appreciate the relationship we've developed with District 9 over at least the last 6 years. So, thank you again. Appreciate it.
May I add something to that, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I forgot something. So, Brent, thank you. We received the information that we discussed last month about roadway art, and we are considering potentially putting artwork on the windscreen that goes over Highway 58 as you come into Mojave. Those of you that travel in Eastern Kern are probably familiar with that giant blank canvas, essentially. So, thank you.
All right. I want to, there'll be an election on November 5th, right? I want to. 6th, November 6th. Good luck. Good luck to you candidates, and hopefully we'll see you next month. This meeting's adjourned.
Thank you so much. I think you see us in